Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about a very particular piece of uniform accessory. And as you can judge from the thumbnail of the video, it's this. A Swedish-made copy of the British Field Service cap, but made for Norwegian police troops during the Second World War. Now, short story. During the war, Norway was occupied by Germany, and while you had the main of the army re-established in Britain, there were also some contingents outside, but that's for another time. Anyway, in about 1943, the Swedish government agreed to putting up Norwegian training camps made of Norwegian refugees who had fled to Sweden for various reasons. But these Norwegian training camps basically received kind of improvised equipment. Some of it would have been Swedish, some of it would have been civilian. Basic working clothes and so on. But starting in about 1944 and 45, they would have started receiving better equipment and actually Swedish M39 tunics and M39 uniforms and especially Swedish submachine guns and rifles, but not any heavy weapons. These were set up to basically help with disarming the capitulating Germans at the end of the war and making sure that everything went as it should, meanwhile the Norwegian government in exile returned. And they did receive Swedish side caps, or garrison caps if you want, but they also received these. Now, as you can see, they are pretty much a copy of the British Field Service cap. Not an exact copy, but obviously imitated from the British Field Service cap. And it has this cut that goes up here, like on the British one, but this flap is not retained by anything, so it just flips down like this if you're not careful. And you have this piece behind this main outer flap. Sorry if there's any technical terminology I'm not getting right now, but anyway, you can basically see it's a pretty much based on the British Field Service cap. Now, what mainly sort of stands out about this is it doesn't have two buttonholes for the two buttons that you would see in the British Field Service cap. This one just have one hole for one button, and then you have this kind of bridge, cloth bridge, if I can even call it that, to keep on the cap patches. And this follows the pre-war Norwegian cap regulation. So you have one button down here, and you have the national cockade up here. Now this is, I don't know if you can see it, but if you can't see it, I'll put up a picture. But this is basically a lion button, and the lion was used in Norwegian army usage, basically as a infantry button, and these police troops were only infantry, but the lion serves in some capacity as a general service button, at least in this time period, but not always. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can put it on for you, show you what it looks like. I'm going to try and find the period pictures of it being in use. But this is basically how you would wear it. This is actually slightly too small for my head, but it's not. It would have been very common for troops anywhere at that time to not get the exact perfect fit for them. But I think it fits fairly nicely. And this is basically how you would wear it. You wouldn't. I haven't seen them being worn a lot like the British style, which is this. And I think the main reason for that is it becomes quite uncomfortable when you do that. So either just square on the head or slightly on the right side. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But while I have your attention, I can compare this to a reproduction British Field Service cap that I have modified to be of what Norwegian troops in Britain would have worn. So here it is. It's a Soldier of Fortune, or K canvas if you will, reproduction. And yes, I know it is kind of bad. I got this a few years ago when I was new into the hobby and didn't know better. But here you have it. Hang on. The left side and the front. As you can see, it's pretty much the same, but the line button on this one is slightly larger, and that's that was the norm, and it's still the norm today to have that the button be the same size as the cockade. This one is quite small, as you can see, and really only used on these Swedish caps. And as you can see, you have room for the 2 buttonholes here, and that's normal. That would be the case for Norwegian, but Norwegian issue Field Service cap is you would have 2 buttonholes just there. But as you can see, it doesn't have the badge that would that you see on this, that's copied in style from the British way of doing things. You will have your I believe it is the regimental badge on your left side of your Field Service cap, and this is the only cap badge that would have been worn with these during the Second World War. And it's, as you can see, it says H7, which is the royal monogram of the King of Norway at the time, Håkon VII. So that's pretty much it. And these both represent caps as worn by privates or corporals. But if you're an officer, you would have worn it with a cap patch like this. And this is a post-war one, but this one, as I previously said, it follows the pre-war Norwegian uniform regulations. So this is specifically for a sergeant. You have 2 dark stripes, and you will still have the same cockades. But if you were an officer from the rank of 2nd lieutenant up till colonel, you will wear one of these. This is an Air Force one, but the only difference is the backing color is blue instead of green. That's the only difference. And generals will have a solid gold background, but obviously those are quite rare, so I don't have one to show you. And the final thing, it's made of really thick Swedish wool material, so it is quite bulky and a bit heavy for what it is. But it is exactly the same type of wool that's the M39 uniform, Swedish M39 uniform is made of. And here I have, sorry if you can't see it properly, but this is a Swedish M58 uniform, which is what replaced the M39, but the wool is the exact same. So if I bring this up here, here's the cap, and here's the jacket. If you can't properly, I'll probably put up a high-res picture showing you, but as you can just see from the video, the materials is pretty much exactly the same. This one is slightly more green, but that is color variations that you would expect either way in Swedish uniforms. So that's yeah, that's it. And that would be common in most militaries to not have the exact same color for every uniform. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a short overview, and if you have any comments or suggestions or anything, just please leave it down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer them pretty quickly. Thank you for watching. Bye.